Hey everybody, my name's Chanel and this is my reality. Welcome to Chanel's reality. I want to talk tonight a little bit about Queen B. Her name is Beyonce. Beyonce, all known as my black liquor. Hopefully y'all can hear me. Let me test. And see if y'all can hear me. Because I think Beyonce, child, I think she might be leaving JAYZ. And I want to share that with you guys and see what you guys think. Let me just make sure I have the right video. Oh, no, that's not what I need to do. I need to go to my videos. Let's see. I know. I wasn't ready. I'm also cooking cinnamon rolls. I don't know why I be doing them. Let's see. Just want to make sure everybody can hear me. Because there's nothing like doing a whole live, especially if it was a really good one, and then realizing you never hit the like button. I'm sorry, not the like button, the live button, or you forgot to take yourself off mute, that type of thing. That can be, it could definitely irritate your whole soul. You'd be like, damn it, I just wasted 2 hours of my time and nobody gets to hear it. That's happened to me a few times. And let me just make sure everybody can hear me. So you'd be like, damn it. And she might. Okay, good. Y'all can hear me. Okay, good. Y'all can hear me. What is happening? Okay. All right. So, it's no secret that Beyonce supposedly, allegedly, is leaving JAYZ. That's what the streets have been saying for, seems like 12 plus years at least. Because I think that's probably the amount of time that JAYZ has been, cheating on Beyonce. And, just for the record, I never understand. I'm like, it's really difficult, in my opinion, to get a spouse that checks every single box. It's hard to get a person that's like cute, sexy, can mind their own business, intelligent, God-fearing, isn't, what's the right word? Completely where their self-esteem is in the toilet, skinny or, thick or whatever it is. Cute, monogamous. I'm trying to think of what else. Intelligent, funny. It's hard to get all of those things, all those characteristics into one person. But they definitely can be in one person. I've had friends over the years. One of my friends in particular, I was in elementary and middle school with, but like her actual name was Charisma, or is Charisma. And literally, in my opinion, she was cute. She was on the cheerleading squad. She was the captain. She was me, because somebody just called me in the middle of the live. Well, it looks like the live is still going. Hey, Carmen. I know my screen is gray because I don't have my laptop. Hey, Tay lover. Who is this talking about I love you? I'm amazing. Okay. Brittany Weeks. Yeah, your screen is great. Yeah, it's fine. It's because I don't have my Mac. I only have my iPad and my phone. And I didn't feel like going home. I'm tired. I've been moving. I'm tired. So I'm just like, I'll just get the laptop tomorrow. But at any rate, she had Body for Days. I think she was also like a mademoiselle. She was like prom queen. Like everything that a man, I guess I would say, would want. It's hard to find that in a man or a woman. If you get all of those, you hit the jackpot. So I don't know Beyonce, I don't know Jay-Z, but it appears to me that if I was a man, why wouldn't Beyonce, why would you cheat on somebody like that? She's beautiful, she's talented, she's creative, she's lacking in the, super cerebral category, but she's a boss. She's from the South. I mean, it's just kind of like, what the hell are you doing? She's sexy, you know what I mean? Like, she to me is kind of what a man would want as a standard if they could get there. And especially with a man who, what is his name? Nas called him a camel or something like that. Like the way Nas, listen, the way Nas handed his ass his whole child, he clipped off his balls, Rockefeller balls, Damon Dash, all of them. He, you know what? He silenced them all. But I'm like, if you're not even that cute, what in the hell are you doing? Like, I don't understand, And I never wanted to root for them because so many people have been saying for years, oh, they're going to get a divorce. He cheats her poorly or she's on drugs or whatever it is that people have been saying. I don't usually, buy into that nonsense for the most part. However, there are certain things where you just kind of say, that doesn't make sense. You know what I'm saying? Like when Beyonce's ex-bodyguard, I think his name was Uncle something, he came out a few years ago, I believe, and was like, yeah, Beyonce's on drugs and you keep it that way. He was making all these accusations. And I'm, low-key, high-key giving him the side eye like, bro, how the fuck are you even alive walking around still saying this shit about Beyonce? and Jay-Z. And then I think a year later or something like that, he no longer was alive. It just seems very fishy. You know what I'm saying? And the same thing with it feels very Diddy. But then again, Diddy and Jay-Z seem to be, besties or brothers, as Diddy would say. But I'm just wondering what is happening with Beyonce, because initially, people would be like, oh, it's the Illuminati. And I still don't believe in the Illuminati, but I do think that there are definitely, industry titans and snipers who will snipe out your whole ass career or snipe you and make it look like you had, pneumonia and died of natural causes, or you had an aneurysm. Like, I do think that type of thing does happen and does go on, especially when you see how Diddy's gotten exposed, and R. Kelly and, Weinstein and all the rest of them. So that there is something, but I wouldn't say there's just one superpower or nothing like that. I do think that, if you don't do what certain executives or whatever say you should do or whatever, they can cancel your whole career and can cancel your ass. And so a lot of people just fall in line. But people have been saying, that Beyonce's father, Matthew Knowles, gave her over to Jay-Z, basically. And initially I was like rolling my eyes, like, come on, that's his daughter. He ain't gonna do that. But you never know what people will do for money. How did that song go? But I love money, gotta make that money, make money. Just saying. Pyro Gaming. No, you can't, Pyro. I don't know you, sir. But anyways, so I've been very hesitant, I would say, to believe, they wasn't, they're not just normal people, meaning in the sense of, married people who are trying to work it out, got kids, trying to, make sure you keep your head on straight and, keep living your dream and making sure you're grounded or whatever the case may be. In that way, I never thought that, that wasn't kind of happening. But I know no one's perfect and no relationship is perfect. So even though I wanted to believe in the fairy tale, they found love and they seem to be, a good couple, whatever. I think it's very difficult to have a relationship in real life and regular life for regular people and be married and have kids and stay married. It's like 10,000 times harder, in my opinion, for celebrities to do it, especially when you got two of the most recognizable, famous celebrities on the planet. So I think because Beyonce is, Southern and really just society tells you got to stay married. Like if you don't stay married, then or you don't get married, they're like, well, looking at you, what's wrong with her? Why don't nobody want to marry her? Or if you get a divorce, it's like, oh, she's a divorce, whatever. She didn't choose the right man or whatever it is. And so I just think sometimes women can't really get a break in that capacity. But I think the tide is turning. Maybe it's been turning for a while, and it's turning away from Jay-Z. I think I could be wrong about that because I do think a lot of women stay in relationships that aren't the greatest, where they're not treated the best for a few reasons. Probably the number one reason is if you have children with that person, you want to just work it out because you want your kids to have a father and you want, them to be able to, you want to model to them, a healthy relationship. Or you just want your children to have a 2-parent household, or, if y'all split up, you're going to be broken and she or he isn't going to help you, I also think a big part of it is, having to tell everybody, oh my God, we had a divorce, and people want to be in your business. And it's, for some people, it could be a little, embarrassing or whatever. And so I think that's how Beyonce thinks. It's like big picture here. So if me and Jay-Z divorce or separate or whatever it is, that's going to be the news for the next however many years. It's going to be the news. It's going to be what happened. And then, the blogs and the news channels, they're going to run with it. And as they always have. And then she's not going to be able to go anywhere, and neither is he, without being asked about it. So I think that's a part of the reason. And then I think she's contracted to, I haven't figured out how Jay-Z seems to profit off of her, because I'm just kind of like, she Queen Bee, she was doing this, she been doing this, not let me stop, but it's like, why she needs you to do it? Like, she's a singer, you're a rapper, you're not even in the same category. What can you really tell her about what she does? She's a professional singer, you are not. You're a rapper, and you might have a ghostwriter, I don't know, but I don't know these people. It's all alleged. Anything said on Chanel's Reality is all alleged, is in my opinion, and for entertainment purposes only. So let's just get into this video so we can just hear, what the streets are saying. Let me make sure I have my volume up.
And what was her reaction to your work, and what was your reaction to hers? They must have caused, I think, people both preaching.
So this first video is going to be about where Jay-Z is being interviewed by another person about his infidelity and his relationship with Beyonce.
Right? Of course. Then both very, very uncomfortable, but sitting in that the best.
If the shoe had been on the other foot, if the transgressions had been on her side, do you think you would be able to be as forgiving of her as she was of you?
I hope. Again, because I love her the same way, no matter.
Y'all heard that? He said, I hope. That means no. That means no, I ain't going to be able to. He already know. Because, I watched this video some years ago, and I don't know if y'all remember this guy, Sean Paul. I think he's from, like, Jamaica or something. He's like White Chopper. That's what I would call him. But he had a lot of hits in the early 2000s or mid 2000s, right? And one of the hits that he had was with Beyonce. It was called Baby Boy. Baby boy, you stay on my mind. And I remember he was getting interviewed, this guy, Sean Paul was getting interviewed, and it felt like he didn't really want to say it, because I feel like he said it without really saying it. And he was just kind of basically like, I think they were supposed to shoot the video together. But I don't know if he was talking to Beyonce, or it seemed like he was gonna somehow be around her more than what Jay-Z approved of. Or maybe Jay-Z thought maybe, if she gets around this dude, then she ain't gonna look back. She don't need to be with me, because he's also in the industry and he's hot right now, just like I am. But maybe he'll be a little hotter than me. And plus he's handsome and I'm not, And so he couldn't have that. And I remember Sean Paul was just kind of like, yeah, he wouldn't let me talk to her. He didn't say those words, but that's what he was saying. It was just kind of like, she's a person who I can't really get to because of him. He seemed threatened. That's the word. Jay-Z was threatened by him. And they weren't, I don't believe, at this time, I don't believe they were even married. They couldn't have been, because when that song came out, I feel like it was 2003. And because I was at my first professional job, and I remember I was listening to Baby Boy on and on, over and over and over again. But that's how I do. I like my songs, and I'll play them over and over again. But when I heard that, I just kind of like, really? And I'm just like, that's the first time that I thought about, is this man trying to control her? But then I thought, okay, well, her dad's there. She came from a 2-parent home. I'm sure she has friends and whatnot. So I don't know if Jay-Z could really, control her. But the way these streets are set up and the way they're talking about Beyonce's being controlled by the industry, period. Like, she doesn't, I don't really think she has the freedom to do what the hell she wants. I mean, on a macro level, she certainly doesn't, because she can't just walk down the street. She can't just show up in Houston, Texas if she wants to. She has to let the people know, hey, I'll be in here, because there's going to be a whole fucking, people storm where they're going to be trying to get to her. She has to announce herself. People like that, they got to let the police know so they can have, keep people together. She's just too big of a star, and so that part of her life isn't her life, no matter what she does. There's always going to be people wanting to get a photo, wanting to, spy on them, see what they up to, whatever it is. It's not all nefarious, but when you're kind of like the alien superstar, people kind of want to see who you are, what you do, how you live, whatever. But now I'm starting to believe that he might be losing his grip on her. And I also think the industry might be losing their grip on her. But I don't know what her contracts are, so maybe they're not. But I don't know. I feel like, I don't know if they're going to divorce, but they might separate and where everybody can see it. I think that might happen, but we'll see.
No matter what side, I love her the same way. I pray that I will.
Jay-Z's such a liar. Y'all believe him? Yeah.
Look, I know Beyonce has like a gorilla grip tight NDA on Julius and everyone that's on her team, but imagine all the shit that he knows.
So, Julius is Beyonce's bodyguard. And they seem to be, I mean, you never really know, because two people, if they're superstars, they could be sitting next to each other on an airplane and suddenly they planning their wedding. Like, I know that people will sensationalize it. But I have to say this, Julius looks way better than Jay-Z, and he's around her a lot, so you never know. Because Beyonce did say in that song, he only want me, what'd she say? He only want me when I'm not here. And that's I Ain't Sorry song. I'm just saying. Let's finish listening.
Cheating scandal. The internet is on fire with new reports that their marriage is hanging by a thread. And this time, Beyonce might be the one with some explaining to do. The streets are saying that the Carters have been living separate lives for a while. And some sources are even alleging that Beyonce has moved in with none other than her longtime bodyguard, Julius De Boer. Julius has been by Bey's side for years, protecting her like a hawk, even stepping in during that infamous Solange versus JAYZ elevator showdown. Not so much to protect Jay, but to cover Beyonce from getting caught up in the mess. Well, now people are saying that Julius is doing a lot more than just protecting Beyonce. Now, if you've been paying attention, this actually isn't the first time rumors about Bey and Julius have popped up. Some fans have speculated for years that there's been something going on betwixt them. But could it actually be true? And if it is, does this mean Beyonce finally got her lick back after everything Jay has put her through?
I mean, I don't know. Maybe she's just super loyal. But if this ninja out here cheating on me left and right, knowing everybody knows, what he's sneaking around doing, I would go find, listen, Chanel's pettiness would come out. I would go find the cutest, sexiest man that's the cleanest, meaning he don't have one thing in his background that Jay-Z could mess with, And I would go hang around with him. Yep. Sure am. Yep. The kids coming too. Yep. The kids. Yeah. Why wouldn't I bring my kids with me? With my new husband, my new man. Sure would. Because if I'm being a rider and I ain't, I'm over here trying to get a check, making sure we can take care of our kids, what the hell are you doing? That's the kind of stuff I don't understand. It's like, so you obtained what you wanted, which is, I want to marry one of the prettiest ladies or most successful ladies, whatever it is. And then you do that, and then you still can't keep your penis to yourself. Why? I don't get it. But anyway, I digress. Let's finish listening.
Because let's be real, ever since Jay admitted to stepping out on her, things between them have never been the same. Sure, they stayed together for the brand, the business, and the billions, but was it ever really about love after that? And here's where it gets even messier. Jay allegedly found out about Beyonce and Julius's alleged living arrangement recently, and reports are swirling that he lost it when he found out that Beyonce has been hanging out with Julius outside working hours. But is there any truth to these wild claims? Did Beyonce really cheat on Jay-Z? Or is this just another internet rumor spiraling out of control? Let's get into it.
Girl.
Julius is hiding in the corner.
So rumors have been swirling once again that Beyonce and Jay-Z's marriage is on thin ice. And while we've heard these whispers before, fans are convinced that something real is happening this time. Why, you ask? Well, Beyonce has been acting strange lately, and it all seems to have started after Jay-Z was publicly dragged into Diddy's legal drama. As you all know, Jay-Z was recently sued for allegedly raping one of Diddy's accusers. And while he did manage to get the lawsuit tossed out, the damage is already done. Jay-Z's name was splattered all over the headlines for months. And despite Jay not being officially charged with anything, a lot of people are still side-eyeing his close friendship with Diddy. Now, Beyonce didn't publicly comment on that Jane Doe lawsuit, but we can all probably imagine how she felt about it. Because if there's one thing we know about Beyonce, it's that she does not play when it comes to her image. For years, she's been carefully crafting how the public sees her, and she's so careful about every move she makes that she even managed to stay completely calm when Solange drop-kicked Jay in that elevator.
Not drop kicked. Yeah. They play too
Married
much.
to Jay-Z. I mean, the man has so many shady allegations attached to his name that it was only a matter of time before something leaked. And after all these years, Jay-Z still keeps dragging Beyonce's name into drama she wants nothing to do with. First, it was his cheating scandal and his apology tour, where he tried to convince us that if the shoe was on the other foot and Beyonce cheated on him, he would be just as forgiving as she was. And then there's the fact that
Lies.
Jay-Z can't even bring himself to say the words, "my wife," in public. While Beyonce is out here praising her beautiful husband, Jay
Right.
got up on that stage last year
he's
at the
so
Grammys
funny.
and referred to Beyonce as this young lady.
Today, my beautiful husband, my beautiful 3 children who are at home watching. I'd like to thank the queer community for your love.
Oh my
I don't
God.
want to embarrass this young lady, but she has more Grammys than everyone and never won Album of the Year. So even by your own metrics, that doesn't work. Think about that.
I mean, seriously, have we ever heard Jay say "my wife" or even "my life partner"? And then on top of all this, there was that whole Diddy scandal and that disturbing lawsuit against Jay and Diddy that dropped just one day before Beyonce and Blue Ivy were scheduled to walk the red carpet for the premiere of Mufasa.
So
Lion King.
listen.
And according to Inside,
I thought that was planned. At first, I'm not a conspiracy theorist like that, but that did feel like something was amiss. It's just kind of like, so y'all throw out the lawsuit the day before this young lady, his daughter. Oh my God. Listen, y'all, I'm eating Popeye's shrimp, and oh my God, it's so damn spicy. Jesus. Oh, I gotta go get my cinnamon roll. So y'all finish listening. I'll be right back.
Beyonce was furious that Jay-Z didn't handle this lawsuit behind the scenes. Apparently, she wanted him to settle quietly before it even ever made the news.
Of course
Because,
she
let's be
did.
real, whether he was guilty or not, the public scandal alone was enough to damage both his and her reputations. And while Jay may have dodged a full-blown trial, Beyonce knows that the court of public opinion is a whole other beast. But here's where it gets real messy. Sources are saying Beyonce isn't just mad, she's getting even. And allegedly, she's been spending a lot of time with her longtime bodyguard, Julius. And not just at work. Some sources claim she's even been staying overnight with Julius at a secret rented spot. Now, to be clear, this is all speculation at this point. But let's just say the internet is eating it up. In fact, many fans are actually rooting for Beyonce to step out on Jay-Z with Julius as payback for everything he's put her through over the years. And besides, it's not like Beyonce and Julius don't have chemistry. Fans have been shipping them for literally years, and saying how Julius seems way more affectionate with Beyonce than Jay-Z. And get this, back in February, this blind item went viral, alleging that Beyonce made out with Julius at the Grammys. And then another related blind from the year before claimed that Beyonce and Julius have been getting cozy for a minute now.
There is allegedly no romance left in Beyonce and Jay-Z's marriage, and she allegedly made out with her bodyguard at the Grammy Awards. The permanent A-list rapper and his wife showed zero affection towards each other. She did make out with her bodyguard, though. And again, this is allegedly Jay-Z and Beyonce. The related revealed blind item from June of 2024 reads, this permanent A-list one-name singer has been spending the past month or two with her longtime bodyguard. And again, this is allegedly Beyonce, and this was back in June.
Now, obviously, there's no proof that Beyonce and Julius did anything messy at the Grammys. And let's be real, we've never seen Beyonce having a full-on makeout session, ever. Not even with her husband. But fans did notice that when Beyonce won the Grammy for Album of the Year, Julius couldn't hide his excitement, and he actually broke character for just a second. But OG Beyonce fans know that these rumors about her and Julius are nothing new. In fact, they've been around for over a decade. All the way back in 2009, Beyonce and Julius were spotted leaving a hotel, and the tabloids ran wild with speculation because Beyonce was hiding her mouth, while Julius's lips looked like they had traces of lipstick on them. Now fast forward to 2014, and the gossip blogs were again talking about Beyonce and Julius getting a little too close for comfort. In fact, one insider claimed at the time that Jay even tried to fire Julius over these rumors. But Beyonce stepped in and said, Julius is here to stay, honey. The source said, Jay definitely thinks that there was and may still be something romantic going on between Bey and Julius. He wanted to fire Julius last February, but Beyonce said, Julius isn't going anywhere. But the rumors didn't stop there. In 2016, there was another blind item claiming that Beyonce was hooking up with her bodyguard and that Jay-Z was afraid of the guy, which probably helps. But fast forward to now, and it looks like Beyonce herself is adding fuel to these rumors. I mean, why else would she have a track called Bodyguard on her latest album? Even if nothing ever happened between her and Julius, you can't tell me that Beyonce didn't know what she was doing with this track. She knows that fans have been shipping her with Julius for years. So the fact that she named a song that talks about a secret romance, Bodyguard, is extremely messy. And let's just say the lyrics have the internet spiraling. Right out the gate, the first verse starts with, I give you kisses in the backseat, I whisper secrets in the backbeat. And then Beyonce sings, they couldn't catch you and they never will. Sometimes I hold you closer just to know you're real. And then she takes it up a notch in verse 2, singing, I protect you in the mosh pit and I'll defend you in the gossip. You know how people like to start ish and pop ish. Now, some fans were quick to point out that if you listen to the whole song, it sounds like Beyonce is actually talking about herself as the bodyguard. But again, Beyonce knew exactly what she was doing, making a song about a bodyguard. Meanwhile, fans also started digging up old clips of Beyonce and Jay, saying how she seems way more relaxed around him than Jay.
Julius is hiding in the corner.
I mean, when was the last time we saw Bey this carefree and silly around Jay? Exactly. And honestly, can you even blame her? Jay doesn't exactly give off life of the party vibes. And get this, sources close to the situation are now saying that Jay-Z is losing it over Beyonce's close bond with Julius. Apparently, Beyonce is no longer trying to hide how much she likes being around Julius. And insiders are saying Jay is panicking because if the public finds out Bey's been allegedly cheating on him this whole time, it's gonna be game over for his ego. And let's be real, Jay's pride could never handle the world clowning him the way Bey had to endure his cheating scandal. But let me know what you think about this mess. Do you believe the rumors that Beyonce...
So I don't know. What is happening? Okay. I don't know what's happening with my phone and my iPad. But I want to know what y'all think. Y'all think Beyonce running around with her bodyguard? Acting like Kim Kardashian? Just like, listen. Maybe Beyonce and Kim Kardashian could be friends, now, if they both have been married to a psychopath. No, let me not say that. I don't know, Jay-Z is in my opinion. But I think something ain't right. with him. If he's gonna be besties with the other psychopath, what's his name? Shitty Diddy is what I call him. Listen, I made the best cinnamon rolls, okay? They're everything. Okay, so I have one more video with Beyonce and JAYZ. Hold on. Where's the one I had about Beyonce? Beyonce all on his mouth, black liquor. Oh, let's see. Is it this one? It might be this one.
Depressed and tired of the music. So, word on the street is that Beyonce is depressed and tired of the music industry. She is feeling controlled and pressured and is allegedly even planning a grand escape. Based on reports, Beyonce even allegedly previously tried to end it all because of everything she has been through over the years. And she allegedly blames everything on her mother, Tina Knowles. Baby, Beyonce tea this couple of weeks.
And hold on, let me shout out this content creator. It's her site is called, or her YouTube site is called Culture Spill. I love her. I think she gets it right a lot, but even if she doesn't, it's, and I won't say she doesn't get it right, but it's all alleged is what I'm getting at. I just feel like she talks really fast, but she's very concise and clear, and you can follow the story, and she doesn't have to, be on here for 3 hours. So shout out to her. Her site is Culture Spill. Her YouTube channel is Culture Spill, and I think she might be related to the other one that's like Culture Covered, I believe. Sounds like the same voice, but I could be wrong about that. But yeah, go on her channel and like all her videos, hit all her buttons, notification buttons, because she does really push out really good content, in my opinion. But let's carry on.
It's been crazy. And if you don't believe anything else, believe this. She is allegedly tired and she's done. And I'm going to be breaking down why. So get seated. Okay, in case y'all haven't noticed, since 2022, Beyonce has been working like a mad woman. She released 2 albums back to back and embarked on 2 tours with plans for another album soon and another tour. In addition, she also launched a perfume, hair care, and whiskey line, and she's literally venturing into every business you can think of. Allegedly, the intense work ethic is driven by a need to reach a financial goal and pressure from her family and team. But she is also...
So let me just pause there. I think, why does it doesn't want to allow me to be great. This is the thing. I can't understand, and I've seen or heard this over the years that Beyonce, and probably more than Beyonce, JAYZ, they have this need, almost like obsession, to be the best, to make the most money, to be at the top. And I can understand wanting to be number 1 or number 2 or whatever it is, more than anything, well respected in whatever industry you're in. It doesn't matter if you're in music and you're just using your talents, or if you're a nurse, if you're a school teacher, you could even be a school bus driver. But I think in general, most of us, aspire to be something great, or at least, accomplish our own goals. So I don't think there's anything wrong with them setting a goal to be, the biggest, the baddest, and whatever else. That's great. Most people aspire to being that. I think. I could be wrong because I don't know most people, but I'm just saying, in my opinion. So, but this is the part that I have a hard time connecting with, is this idea that they need more money. Like, you'll notice when she says in this video, she says, oh, well, Beyonce has been spending, a lot of time opening up, or it seems like all of a sudden, at least it seemed that way to me, that she's opening all these businesses or starting all these businesses. So she has, I think, a cognac line, which is alcohol. And I mean, like, I don't know, but I'm just saying. She has that Sacred, I think it's called Sacred hair conditioner treatment. I don't know exactly what it is. And she has a few other things. And the weirdest thing to me is most of her, okay, she has this major, probably one of the biggest followings in the world in terms of what do you call social media and things like that, or fans in general. And they are going to support her at everything she does, accept anything she does outside of music. Like if it is not tied to music, they're not gonna support it. I mean, Beyonce and them came out with what was it, Derriere or Darion jeans when I feel like I was maybe 19 or going on 20 because I used to try to go and buy it, whatever. But it quickly went directly to Marshalls, which is a discount store. So it's like, yeah, Calvin Klein's and Marshalls along with a whole bunch of other, but they've been in that particular market, clothing and accessories and all that for 30 years. So Beyonce keeps trying to, in my opinion, reinvent herself and to have a different level, I'm sorry, different line of or different stream of money, meaning she wants to make money when she sleep, and she does. But I think she wants to not have to, be touring every year and all that kind of stuff, because that has to, weigh on your body, weigh on your soul. You're missing out on your family and all of the things that are going on because you on tour trying to impress or entertain everybody else, the world, all of the people that want to see you. And it's like I feel like I don't know why it all came out at once, or it seemed like it all came out at once. That's why I think a lot of the internet or people on the internet are saying, she's doing this because she's trying to, make sure her financial, her financial future is taken care of. But I'm like, if y'all got $1 billion on the elevator, how is your financial future in jeopardy in any capacity? And that's not to say, she doesn't want to have, live exactly how she's living right now for the rest of her life. But if you are buying an $88 million house or mansion, at the very least, even if the market went completely crazy and in the next 30 years, you have to sell this house because you're out of money, you still gonna get at least 40 million for it, at least minimum, and so it's just kind of insane to me. But I'm not a person to knock anybody. Like, I ain't knocking nobody hustle. Whatever it is, as long as it's not illegal, it's not hurting nobody, do you. But it's just odd that it's like, well, she's trying to gear up to, so when she leaves JAYZ, she'll have all this extra money streams of income. And I'm like, her music is gonna be banging for the remainder of time, in my opinion. So I don't really get that. And I don't know that she needs anything else to do. You know what I'm saying? Because she busy out here, taking care of her kids and making hits. Like, and listen, I'm not even a Beyonce fan like that. Like, I like her music, but I don't know. She's not my favorite person. She hasn't done anything to me. I don't know that lady, but it's just, the reason is because I just don't feel like she's authentic. There's just something about her that's very inauthentic to me. And so I just can't do fake. It's hard for me to do fake with anybody. It doesn't matter who you are. But, people have been saying for a while, they haven't been together. They live separately. Well, people could say that even if they lived together. You know why? Because if you have a schedule like Beyonce has, or a schedule like JAYZ has, or whatever it is they got going on, you're probably not going to see each other most of the time anyway. I don't see how that's a red flag. For them to still be together, I don't even know how many years they've been married, but let's just say they've been married for 10 plus years and they got a family and all that. I mean, I think that's a feat, especially if he out here, slinging around his, schlong at everything that, all the pretty girl, Becky with the good hair. That's what Beyonce said. Beyonce said he out here with Becky with the good hair, honey. And it just, again, it doesn't make any sense to me. But that's what the streets are saying. I do feel like Beyonce's probably fed up because of her name having to be associated with everything that went on with Diddy. And then having her husband be accused of rape. It's a sticky situation. Because, listen, what do you do? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I don't even understand how one approaches that topic with your husband that you've been with for, 15, 20. How do you, listen, I can't see how that would not ignite a whole ass nuclear, bomb inside of wherever it is y'all are, inside of y'all bunker, inside of y'all mansion, inside of the plane, like wherever it is they were. How does that not ignite the biggest, whatever? It's not like something, oh, someone's suing me because, they say I stole their music, or, somebody's lying on me about, something else, whatever. Rape is that allegation doesn't go away. I don't care how much they try to scrub the internet. It is going to ring out for the rest of his time that he's on here, and even after that. Because even if Blue Ivy decides to become a star, which I think 50 Cent said they already got Grammys. I can't play with 50 Cent. But like she seems like she's in that vein already, right? She was on tour with her mom. I never watched it, so but that's what I heard. She's on tour with her mom. And then, she did this Lion King or Mufasa movie. And so sis is on her way. She's 13, I think, 12 or 13. And so I feel like they've kind of been prepping her because maybe that's what she wants to do. She sees her mom and her mom's great at it. And so, I think that's what she wants to do. But the only thing about it is this whole entertainment industry is savage. It's so savage. And I feel like Beyonce and Jay-Z probably think that, well, we can protect her. But this is the thing. You're not even protected. Look at what they're doing to you right now. But I'm sure he thought he was until they filed that lawsuit. I'm sure he thought he was untouchable. And that's how I feel. It's my opinion. It's Chanel's reality. I think Jay, the worst thing you can have in this world sometimes is an ego at all times, right? You're not right all the time in every situation. Even though it may look like you're winning, right? So then that goes to your, oh, I'm right, scenario thought process that you have because you keep winning. Why would Diddy and Weinstein and Bill Cosby and on and on and on, why would they think that they need to stop doing all of whatever they allegedly did all of these years if they're never held accountable? Why would I think I'm not going to win when all I do is win? Everybody thought I wouldn't make it out of the Marcy Projects, and here I am. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I don't think he has a reason to think that he would lose. But I can't truly understand how I'm like, because how much more money do you need? I feel like Beyonce wakes up in the morning, she's just like, let's get to the bag. I mean, I feel like she does, but this is my sad part for her. I do think that she has to be ultra busy. If she's not touring, she has to be writing. If she's not writing, she has to be practicing, and preparing for her next tour. And her next tour could be in 2 years, but that's still a whole lot of work and a whole lot of things you need to do. And if she's not doing that, she's probably writing for a new album and getting ready to promote the new album and on and on and on. So my thing is, that's fine, but we in our 40s, Beyonce, sis. And I'm not saying she should quit or she should even stop doing what she's doing. But what I am saying is the consequence of what she's doing, her and her husband, is that you are losing precious time with your family. You have a ton of money. Go sit down on your pile of money on an island. Go buy an island out there in the Philippines. It's beautiful. Go do that. And, let your children have somewhat of a normal life and have a mom and dad at home, a lot of times. And I think, I don't want to say they're wrong for how they're living because, listen, if I had their lifestyle, their money, I'm sure I'd be living great too in that manner. But I just think that they're going to regret it. I do think that. I think Beyonce's going to look back and say, wow, where did these 10 years go? My daughter's 13 now. How much time did I actually have to spend with her? Because it's only a few more years from 18 or 19. When now mama can't tell me shit, neither can daddy, because daddy tried me. I'm really going to ring him. Like, I do wonder about that because I'm like, you could stop. I feel like she started these businesses. I could be wrong about this. I'm happy to be wrong. But it feels like to me she started them because she saw the success of Rihanna. And I'm not saying she's jealous of Rihanna or any of that. But to my knowledge, Rihanna is the only one that I would say is a perfect person of color at the same level of a Beyonce that succeeded that much and that quickly with her savage beauty and her savage, like the clothes and the makeup and all of that. She's winning. People keep talking about, Rihanna, when you coming back? When you gonna go back on tour? Rihanna's like, child, catch me if you can. I ain't doing that. I ain't gotta do that. Yeah, and she got her 2 babies, her husband or her boyfriend, baby daddy. He didn't, got acquitted or whatever the hell happened with that. And she's gonna just get to go be fancy free with her 2 kids and her husband. And I think it's beautiful because she worked since she's probably 15 years old. And, Rihanna's a little bit younger than us. So she, I think, mid-30s or something like that. Like, let that lady live. And I think that's what Beyonce wants. Not because Rihanna's doing it, but, I think she aspires to have that where she doesn't have to do everything that she's been doing for the past 20 years. She got to be tired. I would be, But I'm going to let her be great. Let's finish listening.
working super hard because she is planning her grand escape from her team, her controlling mother, and the influence of her unbearable husband. In simple terms,
Not unbearable,
Beyonce is
child.
allegedly putting together her escape plan.
Not
Now,
escape
I know there
plan.
have been a lot of conversations about what has been going on with Beyonce, but this time, people are saying that they are certain that something really nasty is actually going on. And there have been quite a few blind items about the entire situation, like this one, which said, industry insiders have been whispering about this for a while. If you are wondering why her bodyguard chased after her at the big award show recently, it's because singer has threatened to flee the country multiple times. She's done with the control, the pressure, and the handlers who make every decision for her. They're afraid she'll leave without notice, and they're right to be. Singer suffers from depression and has unaliving thoughts. Her team sees her as a danger to herself.
Let's re-listen to that. That's a lot. Let's re-listen to it.
About what has been going on with Beyonce. But this time, people are saying that they are certain that something really nasty is actually going on. And there have been quite a few blind items about the entire situation, like this one, which said, industry insiders have been whispering about this for a while. If you are wondering why her bodyguard chased after her at the big award show recently, it's because singer has threatened to flee the country multiple times. She's done with the control, the pressure, and the handlers who make every decision for her. They're afraid she'll leave without notice, and they're right to be. Singer suffers from depression and has unaliving thoughts. Her team sees her as a danger to herself. But what they're really afraid of is losing their cash cow. They've kept her under control for years, but they won't be able to much longer. She's on the verge of rebelling. She's fed up with her mother's control. She's tired of her husband's influence. Based on this, Beyonce doesn't want to work so freaking much anymore. She is exhausted mentally, physically, and emotionally because she's been doing this for decades, and she just wants to relax, rest, and finally live on her own terms. But her team and family won't let her. Allegedly, she didn't even want to do her tour, but she is doing it for two reasons: to reach a specific financial goal that will let her escape for good, and because her family and label are pushing her to work while she still can. Apparently, this is why the tickets were so expensive, and this is why she's suddenly diversifying her business moves. This is also why she's quietly buying property outside the US. There have also been allegations that lawsuits are coming because her finances aren't adding up, and that she's been spending more than she's making, and she's terrified of being trapped in this cycle forever. Basically, Beyonce just wants to slow down, step back, and not have to grind anymore. But the people around her won't let her stop working. But here's the real tea. Apparently, she knows what happened to her idol when he tried to break free, and she's afraid of the same fate. That's why she's quietly making moves, setting up her escape, and ensuring that when she finally disappears, she won't be forced to come back. I mean, this...
Did y'all hear her? She's talking about she quietly setting up her escape. So shady and messy. I hope, I don't even know what to hope. Part of me hopes she gets out. The other part of me hopes she's able to, salvage her marriage if it's worth it, and if he isn't truly a rapist or whatever it is that they're calling him. But I even if he isn't that, we know for sure he's been arrested for all kinds of violent acts, including, pow and his brother with the pew pew because he stole some crack allegedly. So even if all the other stuff don't work, I mean, that's a whole bunch of reasons why you shouldn't be with this man. But I do want to know, y'all. Let me know in the chat if y'all do really believe that Beyonce is being controlled by her husband, by the industry, by all of her handlers, and can't really get out of it. And then whether or not you think he's been abusive to her, he being JAYZ. Let me know what you think in the comments.
Is a lot. So let's break down these allegations a little, starting with her mental state. See, previously, Beyonce spoke about experiencing depression around the age of 19, during a period of change for Destiny's Child, and she mentioned feeling blamed for the band's problems. In addition, there have been crazy reports of what the girls had to go through, courtesy of Tina Knowles, like how Tina would tell the other girls to go out in the sun and get sunbaked, but specifically said that Beyonce should not participate in the sunbaking. And other than making the other girls tan so that Beyonce could be the lighter skinned one, apparently.
So I don't believe this. On one hand, I'll say this. I know people who are light, bright, close to white, beautiful, hazel eyes. And, I have a friend personally, and her mother-in-law, I don't know why she was so scared. It was either her mother-in-law or her mom. No, I think it was her mom. Now, if you from, New Orleans or, whatever, shout out to the Creole people in the world, because I've heard many times that, there's this kind of unspoken but really spoken rumor or idea that, we have to keep everybody light skinned and with pretty eyes and whatever else. And so they don't want you to procreate with darker skinned people. That's supposedly is what goes on in New Orleans. And so my friend was like, her mom was terrified that, like she basically harassed her daughter the whole entire pregnancy. Like, you better not, I hope our babies can't come out chocolate and this, and this. And I was just like, I felt so bad for her because she's gorgeous. She's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And it's like, you can't even get through you trying to create a whole ass human being, and here your mama go because you dating or chose to procreate and marry a dark skinned person. And it's just mind boggling to me that people still think in 2025 that if you're darker, you must be ugly. If you're darker, you must be broke. If you're darker, you must be unintelligent. If you're darker, you have low self-esteem. If you're darker, you're poor. Like, well, go on and on and on and on. And anybody that's like right close to white are better than you somehow. Because I could walk into the Saks or to the Neiman's and I see how some of them, look. They and it could partially be in my mind, but it's how I grew up. But yeah, they pay a much closer attention to the people that don't look like me, in my opinion. Um, and I do believe, like, you see me walking in and people size me up, and I'm none of the things that they think I might be. So I'm not broke. I don't have bad credit. I graduated high school, went to college. I have a few college degrees. I'm married and, have a great life for myself. But I'm sure I walk into the Neiman's or the Saks or the Chanel or Tiffany's or wherever, and the people think, oh, why is she even in here? Can she really afford it? You know what I mean? Or if I can't afford it, I must be married to an athlete or some sort of um, professional basketball player or something. Like, it's crazy. It's nonsense. And it still bothers me because it's just kind of like, you really think that the skin color can determine someone's value and their contribution to this world. It's bananas, and people really do believe that. Look at what they put in the White House again. If you don't believe me, just look over there. Elon in chief, okay? Him too. He crazy as hell too. So anyway, like, so the reason I say I don't believe this part of the story where she's saying that the streets are saying that Tina Knowles made the girls sunbathe and then didn't let Beyonce sunbathe because she wanted to make sure that Beyonce was the lighter skinned one. Well, Beyonce was always and has been the lighter skinned one, so that's why that rings false to me. Like, she was already light skinned. Kelly isn't light skinned. Kelly's my color. The other short girl, they used to always have like the red in her hair, again, my color, or maybe a shade lighter or something like that. And then Latoya Luckett is not my color, but she's not Beyonce's color. So I don't understand. Like, you know what I mean? And if your daughter's already the lead singer, why would it matter? You think she's not going to stand out? Then that tells us what you think about your daughter, that you need to have these other women over here or these other young ladies at the time kind of do things that, would make them maybe not be the most palatable to, the Destiny's Child audience. So that means, to me, excuse me, you feel your daughter is insecure, or you're insecure about your own daughter. You don't think her talent, in my opinion, could supersede all of that. You don't think her beauty could supersede all of that. You clearly must think that these other three girls could beat her if she was dark like them. So we can't have that if Miss Tina Knowles was doing that. But again, I don't know Tina Knowles. I don't know Solange. I don't know Beyonce. I don't know Matthew Knowles. I don't know none of these people. All I have in common with them is I was born and raised here in Houston, Texas, just like them. That's it. There's no other kind of like thing that I have in common with them. But like, I find a hard time believing that. But there is a whole bunch of colorism going on in our country, and especially in New Orleans, just from the few people that I know. I believe it wholeheartedly. But Tina just doesn't come across to me like that. Like, she's like, okay. I don't even feel like she was involved like that. I feel like, because from what I heard, especially early 2000s, it was this kind of like, what the news would report about her is that Matthew Knowles, quit his hundred and something $1,000 a year job, and because he wanted to ensure his daughter's future and wanted to go on tour and, with his daughter and Destiny's Child, and wanted to be the manager. And they got into it a lot, allegedly, meaning Tina and Matthew Knowles. Because I think Tina owned a beauty salon or something like that. And so if you're not out here, making the coins, and I got to make all the coins, we're going to have a whole ass problem. Maybe. But, it all paid off. So I don't know. I could see them having fights or arguments about it, because sometimes, that wasn't the plan. The plan was you work, you do your thing, I work, I do my thing. We're going to raise our children here, and, we're going to go on family trips, and we're going to have a good time, but our kids are going to have a decent life. And now you've decided that no, they're going to have a bigger life because I want my child to be, the biggest whatever. I believe in her, and I believe in my ability to get her there. And, if y'all are lacking in the finances department because he wants to have his dream come true about, what he thinks his daughter could do in this world, I could see how she might be like pissed. And he probably gone a lot too, because they on tour and she's sitting over here, probably lonely and whatever else. So I could see how that would be problematic in general. But I don't think that she was involved in the progression of Destiny's Child in that way. I think she came along probably when The Writings on the Wall came out, and because she was like their stylist or something, which I always thought was so cute, and she always got it right. I'm like, damn, if I had Tina Knowles as my mama, she could make me listen. I'm already juicy, so she can just make me lit. You know what I'm saying? Because my fit gonna be different than everybody else's, because I ain't gotta go get it from the Macy's or the, wherever it is that people shop for the regular clothes during school time. Like, that's the exciting thing. Let's go school shopping. I don't have to go school shopping because Tina Knowles in the back, Mama Knows, she got me. And ain't none of you bitches gonna be like me. You know what I'm saying? Everything is an original. You know what I mean? It's just, I always enjoyed, seeing the vision of the art that she would do when she made clothes for them. I was like, that is so interesting. She missed her mark when she, she should have been a fashion designer, and I think she would have killed it. But anyway, back to what I was saying about this. I don't know if I believe that Tina was that involved in, telling the girls to go outside and suntan. I just think I think it's malarkey. For one, your skin isn't going to get that much darker just because you're in the sun. It's just not. Your skin is just like a living organ. It's going to shed and everything else. So you'll get back to your normal skin tone. If that was the case, then white people wouldn't be white, because they love to fucking tan. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, knock it off. But anyway, let's finish listening.
Tina also didn't want to work with the darker girls at all. As she was putting pressure on the other girls, she was also putting pressure on Beyonce to be perfect. And this controlling nature went on for years, to the point to where Beyonce allegedly wanted to end it all. So if we're talking about her being depressed now, it's kind of believable. About her finances, Beyonce previously faced a tax dispute with the IRS over approximately $2.9 million in unpaid taxes, interest, and penalties from 2018 and 2019. And the IRS examined her tax returns and identified discrepancies in deductions and unreported income. Well, Beyonce contested these findings in court, and she asserted that the IRS made several erroneous determinations and asked the court to rule that she doesn't owe any additional taxes for the years in question, and to grant any other appropriate relief, including a refund if it finds that she overpaid taxes owed. Now, I'm not sure what her financial situation is, but some sources have reported that she doesn't make as much as people think, which is why she is throwing everything on the wall to see what sticks. About buying property outside the U.S., we've seen her do this, so this is also not news. Only that this time it's being reported that she's buying property as an escape plan. Now, as for how Tina is involved, there have actually been various claims about how Tina forced Beyonce to marry JAYZ, with one blind even saying recently, this globally adored pop star is widely seen as one of the most powerful and influential women in the world. Her marriage to a rap mogul has long been praised as the pinnacle of black love and empire building. But behind closed doors, it's anything but a fairy tale. What most people don't know is that the superstar never truly wanted this relationship to begin with. In fact, the marriage and even the relationship itself was something she was pushed into by none other than her mother. The superstar was barely 19 years old when the rapper, then in his early 30s, took a keen interest in her. At the time, she was still finding her voice, still figuring out her identity, and unsure about getting involved with a man nearly 13 years her senior. It was sources also said that insiders say the superstar was hesitant from the beginning. She knew about his reputation, the women, the questionable past, and the power imbalance, and voiced her discomfort to her mother. But instead of supporting her, her mother quickly shut her down. Allegedly, her mother, who had long been managing her career, saw the relationship as a strategic business move. She allegedly told her daughter that being with the mogul would solidify her career and put her on another level, essentially making her untouchable in the industry. The mother was focused on creating an empire and believed aligning her daughter with the rap mogul would do just that. Even when the superstar admitted she wasn't sure she even liked him like that, her mother dissed her. And so, despite her hesitation, the young singer went along with it. But what she didn't know at the time was just how dark her future husband's past was and how it would come back to haunt her. I mean, we've also seen Jay-Z get exposed for a number of things over the years, but Beyonce was just in too deep to leave. So again, it's possible that she may have been forced to stay, but reportedly, she just can't take it anymore. Okay, I also know that there's a lot that's been said about Beyonce as of late, and it's hard to know what's real and what's not, especially when we have other crazy narratives like how she's been living with her bodyguard, Julius De Boer, and even plans to escape with him. Now, about the bodyguard, some people have actually even said that they believe Beyonce and Julius have been involved in the past because of some questionable pictures of them together, including one where he was coming out of the hotel behind Beyonce with lipstick on his lips. In fact, allegedly, a few years back, Jay-Z definitely thought that there was and may still be something romantic going on between Bey and Julius. And an insider said that he wanted to fire Julius, but Beyonce said Julius isn't going anywhere. Based on reports, they've become so close in the last couple of months, which is why Julius broke character and visibly celebrated Beyonce's win at the Grammys. Allegedly, during the event, Beyonce showed zero affection towards Jay-Z, but she did make out with her bodyguard though. Allegedly. And there have also been lines about how Bey and her bodyguard are going to ride off into the sunset, and you won't see her more than once a year or so out in the wild. In fact,
Not
if
in the
word on the
wild.
street is anything to go by, allegedly they have even been spending
handsome.
days continuously together. And it's no longer just random hookups here and there. And these are not my words, guys. These are just things I've seen being said on the internet as of late. Okay? Well, allegedly, Beyonce blames her mom for everything because she is the one who apparently forced her to get married when she was very young. And we've covered the timeline of the relationship between Jay-Z and Beyonce a few times, noting that it just never made sense. I mean, Beyonce said in interviews that she was 18 when they first met and 19 when they first started dating. Based on folks who were around back in the day, Jay started hooking up with Beyonce when she was much younger. The age thing aside, when it comes to Bey and Jay-Z, there have also always been endless cheating allegations that go all the way back to 2005 when they were still early into their relationship. And Bey is just tired of it all. She is tired and depressed, according to reports. I mean, at this point, many people are saying that it's actually believable that Beyonce is fed up, not just with her mother, but with her husband as well. According to what most people have observed, you can clearly see in their eyes that Jay-Z and Beyonce are not in love, especially when it comes to Beyonce. It's like she's not really into him anymore, and there's really no spark in her eyes. In fact, many people are of the opinion that when Beyonce is with Jay-Z, they look more like best friends or even siblings. So maybe all these things that are coming up as of late are not just stories. Maybe Beyonce is actually depressed, and the endless work is all a plan to secure her finances as she plans to leave Jay-Z and her controlling mother. I don't know, guys. It's already crazy as it stands. But what do you think of all these rumors making rounds as of...
That's what I want to know, y'all. What do y'all think about all these rumors? Y'all think Beyonce leaving him and her mama controlling her career? I don't think that. I do want to know what the hell happened to her because she started out a different color than she is now. That's just wild to me. She looks, I want to give her the benefit of the doubt and just say, maybe she took all the makeup off. Body makeup, face makeup, all of that. And now that's the color she really is when she takes all the makeup off. But like, it's almost as if like when you watch her in that Sacred with the, hair care line or whatever, you watch her in that video, she looks, in my opinion, younger. And she appears to have on no makeup. But, sometimes you can make makeup look like you don't have any on. I'm just saying. But she looks fresh and clean. In those videos, to me, she looks like 28, 29, maybe. So I'm like, I don't understand. How is she Benjamin Button? How are you aging backwards like that, sis? Like what the fuck is going on? that's another thing that makes me feel like she's being controlled in some way. I hope that none of this is true. I'm happy to be wrong about all of it because I never like to, I never like cheer for the demise of anyone. Doesn't matter who they are. Because any of us could be in a situation too. As much as we think we the baddest, this, that, and the third, and we would never allow this happen or that to happen. People allow all the kind of things that they swear they would never let happen. Especially when there's another, person that you care about or love, or like your kids and all that. People stay for all kinds of different reasons in relationships that aren't healthy, or that aren't serving them in any way, or that they're not in love with that person anymore, or even compatible with that person. I do think that Beyonce was snatched up by Jay-Z because he wasn't able to snatch the other ones that he really wanted to snatch up in that way. And then I also think he saw her star was on the rise. He saw it. And so he was just kind of like, I'm not saying Jay-Z wasn't popping at the time, but I've honestly never been a big Jay-Z fan either. But he definitely was a star for sure. And his star was much brighter than her star. And I'm certain he had way more connections in the industry than she did. Plus, if you met her, quote unquote, at 18, you didn't wait a year to start dating her. Stop it. Not the way that he won't even let Sean Paul be in the video with her ass and don't want Dame Dash saying anything to her. Like, you got low self-esteem and you're very insecure based on the, what the streets have said. I don't know none of these people. I wasn't there. So I don't know. It's all alleged. But from what I get from him, because if you think about it, in the early 2000s, Beyonce used to do interviews. When last time y'all seen Beyonce do her interview about anything for any reason? I'll wait. You really only ever see Jay-Z doing videos. I mean, not videos, interviews. And I think that's all about power and control. We have to control the narrative. We have to control our image. We have to be the best at everything. We can never have any dark spots, on our resume, which is ludicrous and insane because nobody's perfect. Which is probably why I've always said Beyonce comes across to me as disingenuous. Not that she's a bad person and can't be genuine, but she could never really just be authentic about how she's really feeling or, things that are bothering her. Like I've said this before, a genuine moment could have truly been when there's actually two of them. When I lost the first one, but when her dad was found out to be, cheating on the mom or had a baby out of wedlock, whatever it was that her dad had another child somewhere, that could have been something to where she, in her life story or whatever it is that she put on all her different releases to DVD and that type of stuff, where she's the executive producer, that's one of those things she could have said, that really bothered me. I really didn't think my mom deserved that. And, he really disappointed me. It could have just been genuine. It could have just been like, yeah, this is so fucked up. But she steamed right past it like it didn't even happen. And it's like, how does that work? I feel like that was an opportunity to be genuine, and she's just not genuine. Even this stuff with Diddy, that's another opportunity to be genuine and just say, you know what? I was friends with him. I never saw this side. Never was aware of it, not once. Never saw it. The only reason I could think someone like that would sit silently when a person her husband is seemingly very close to and someone she's been around seemingly many, many years, it's like, why can't you just say, I never saw that. I never experienced that. Now, I could even give her this. I want to wait and see. And, I hate when people say they want to wait and see. That shit irritates me. But because they always want to only wait and see when it's regarding the perpetrator. They couldn't give a shit about, let's wait. They don't give that grace to the victims or alleged victims. But it's just kind of like, why don't you say something? This is a perfect time for you to say something. And the only reason I can think of is you scared that your husband is going to be. I feel like Beyonce is like the moment she presses her lips together to say anything negative about any of these people, like Diddy, then that's going to throw her in that pool of sharks, and she's like a baby dolphin, okay? And not that she's a baby dolphin, but you get what I'm saying? They're going to eat her alive is my point. the internet, the news, the commentary people, like everybody's going to go around the world. And so I don't think she's ever going to say anything, even if she did know something. But I do think Jay-Z's and Beyonce's reign is going to be over. And then I would say in the next 10 years, I would say. And it seems impossible. It's like who could take down Beyonce? Like the world loves this lady. Like she can't do no wrong. They love her music. They love the way. Like I just know so many people that's just like Beyonce can't do no wrong. Like no matter, even if she is wrong, they don't see it. You know what I'm saying? It's just like I don't have blind loyalty to anyone, and so I really don't understand how you can have blind loyalty to a person that doesn't even know you exist. You riding for this lady don't even know you exist. And if she was doing something that was, helping the world and making the world a better place, then yes, I could say, yeah, you could have a connection with someone that doesn't know you exist, because it's more of it's bigger than that, what that one person can contribute. It's more about the greater good, so when you think about people who, work for UNICEF, or people who are in the military, or people who work on the front lines in the hospital, things like that, that really actually have an impact on people's well-being. I'm talking about like their physical well-being and their mental well-being. Then I would say, okay, I get it. And I'm not going to say she doesn't serve a purpose and what she's doing isn't great, because obviously she continues to make hits. She continues to be popular. And some of us, I was going to say most of us, have listened to a song or two or three or 10 where it's like, man, she's talking about exactly what's going on in my life right now. Or, whatever. It's one of those songs, okay, I'm going to put this on so I can get on the treadmill and, go on, run my 2 miles on the treadmill. I get it. And sometimes music, it really is one of those, music is one of those great, what's the right word? Binders of humans. It's kind of like, we can all relate to, listening to music and how it affects our lives. And we, all can listen to the same song and come away with 3 different opinions about what that song meant and how it, changed your life or didn't change your life, or, whatever else. So I do think, obviously, I'm not going to take that away from her, that she's very creative. And like I said, she's pretty and she's wealthy and she has her kids and, she has a great career. But I have to agree. I'm starting to believe what Jaguar Wright said about Beyonce when she was like, she's a gilded something in a cage or something like that. This is starting, the fact that she, like I said, she doesn't interview, she doesn't do, everything she does is calculated. And that leads me to believe, because at first I used to think, okay, well, maybe she's just this way because she just wants to protect her image. But at some point, no matter who you are, you want to be real. You want to be and show who you really are. You do. And I can't imagine for a moment that must be peaceful, to just never say anything to anyone about how you truly feel about everything in your life. I can never say it publicly. I have to put on a show. I have to be Beyonce the singer, Beyonce the superstar. I can never just be who I am, because we can't mess up. We can't allow the people to know that we sleep in the same bed. Like, the type of Lucille Ball like thing where the or that era where parents had to sleep in 2 twin beds. And it's just like, how the hell y'all thought they made these kids if it's such a big thing to have sex? You can't do that kind of thing. But I think it's ingrained in her. I think it is part of her personality to kind of like be in the background and don't really, probably needs her time alone, because I think she's a Virgo, and Virgos are, I can't with Virgos. But if you know a Virgo, then you know what I'm saying. It's like they could be the life of the party. People can love them that don't even really know them like that. And, they're very fun to be around, but they need their time. And so then I'm like, so when you come out of hibernation, come on, holler at your girl. You know what I'm saying? But that's what they do. They go and hibernate. And then people be like, so you just didn't call me for a month and a half? Like, that's Virgos. It's who they are. It's the way their world works. And I don't understand how I have 2 besties that are Virgos. I promise they about to get kicked to the curb too. Nah, I love my friends. But yeah, I hope for Beyonce's sake and for her children's sake that if there is something in her life that is anything near to what people have said is going on or has been going on in her relationship or her marriage or whatever with Jay-Z, I truly hope she gets out of that, if that's the case. But I'm happy to be wrong. I'm happy to say sorry and be like, well, we were wrong about that. Because I do want her to be happy, because she has kids. And even if she didn't have kids, I just, in general, I want people to be happy souls, because then the more happy people we can have in this world, the more peaceful our world could be. The more people are stressed out and in a bad mood, and, things ain't going their way, and they're angry and whatever else, that's what, makes the world violent and savage, and, all the things in between. So, and you just don't. I feel really bad for her kids. I'm just like, Jesus, or for their kids. I can't imagine. Then you got Kanye West running around the planet, you know, talking about Jewish people in a manner that is so racist and so anti-Semitic and just completely out of fucking bounds. But I mean, that's Kanye. I can't wait till they cancel him for real. I don't know if he can be canceled like he said, because that ninja, it's almost like people want him to come out and say the most cocky things, kind of very Donald Trump-ish, where it's like the more outrageous he is, the more fans he has. It's bizarre. The more people gonna pump him up. But at the end of the day, Kanye doesn't realize he has a whole, 3-4 kids. They looking at you. They watching. They watching your antics. And I know Kim has to be wondering in her mind, are any of my children that I have with Kanye gonna suffer from any type of mental illness? And the reason I think that's valid is because mental illness, it's not a specific science to it, but a theory is that, it's genetics. So meaning it could be passed down to you. So you might get that genetic. And then, because when we do an assessment, and I've done all kinds of assessments of mental health, one of the things they're going to ask you is there any history of mental health in your family? And I'm here to tell you, most of the people that I've, interviewed over the years or assessed over the years, yeah, it's my daddy had bipolar, or my grandfather had, schizophrenia. My mom also had severe anxiety, and on and on and on. So that leads me to believe that, it has to be a question in the back of your mind if your mom was. I have 2 friends where both of their parents were mentally ill. One was schizophrenic, another one was, I can't remember exactly what the other one was, but we've had those conversations where it's like, are you worried? And both of them are like, yes, I'm concerned. Like, they don't have any symptoms or anything like that, but that has to be scary. And then not only that, you have children now. Both of them have children. So you have to think, okay, well, maybe it skipped a generation. What if my child ends up with something like that? So it's just, I don't have anything like that in my history that I know of. So I think I'm okay, but you never know. People get an onset. You could develop a mental illness. PTSD is one of those. You experience extreme trauma, you could have PTSD, which is post-traumatic stress disorder. But, like I said, it's all criteria for all these different things. You don't just, like, people will be like, oh, she's bipolar. Just because she has mood swings does not make her bipolar or him bipolar. Go read the DSM. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get off of here because I have lots to do tomorrow. I think I'm going to have a garage sale. We got so much shit, y'all. Listen, it's a lot. You just don't even realize how much stuff you have until you get ready to move. It's just, it's a lot. But anyway, guys, chime down in the comments. Let me know what you think about this whole situation with Beyonce, because they're swearing that, she's dating the bodyguard and has been for some time and is planning her exit, okay? Her escape from JAYZ. And, I guess all of the music executives. I can't say I believe any of it, but I can say if you have 2 people who aren't bad looking around each other in close proximity a lot, there's a chance that something could happen. There's a greater chance that either both or one, at least one, is attracted to the other. And you have enough, drinks or enough late nights or enough whatever's going on in your relationship, then you're talking to her about it or vice versa. Here comes the emotional, relationship, or emotional cheating. And at the end of the day, once you get that person's mind and they focus on you and they want you, the body is going to follow. It just is what it is, unfortunately. That doesn't mean that you'll actually one day have sex with them, but there's if you have an opportunity, there's probably a greater chance, if the feeling is mutual, that could actually happen, because you're feeling so connected and bonded with this person at the time. But a lot of times people don't realize that's not the best thing, because it's in a vacuum. So your interaction with this person that you're thinking about cheating on with, or that you are emotionally cheating with, you removing all of the regular things that make the relationship you want to get out of bad. All of the things that make you, stress you out or whatever the case may be. And so, but that's the only time whenever you're with this person is great, right? Because you only see them a few times a week or on the weekend or whatever it is. So you have time to miss them. You don't know all of their, daily habits. You don't know a whole bunch of things about these people. So it seems like this could be great. It's kind of like, when children have, let's say, one really good parent that's like the primary parent, and the other parent, we'll say the dad, just for the purposes of this conversation, but the dad isn't around, the other parent isn't around a lot, and they say they're gonna come, then they end up not coming, and all kinds of stuff to kind of like just disappoint their child. The child a lot of times will make up in their mind the scenario that they think is correct, which is, if my mom or my dad isn't here, they must be somewhere missing me, trying to get to me, and it's just something else is happening. It couldn't possibly be that they don't give a shit. And people do that, like I said, kids do that because they're trying to protect their own, sanity. Who wants to sit around and think my dad don't love me? He ain't never here for me. Nobody. Same thing with your mom. Nobody wants to think that, right? And so children, when that secondary parent comes along, it's always a blast. And usually that secondary parent's like fun parent. Oh, we're gonna go to the zoo. We're gonna go have pizza. We're gonna go roller skating. And so when they bring the child back home, the child's elated to see them again because they want to have that experience again. And you got, the primary parent over here just trying to make it, trying to, balance her time with her kids or his kids and on and on and on. And they don't see them as the fun parent because the parent that's doing everything they're supposed to be doing is the responsible parent. And therefore, yeah, your kids don't want to be around you. Who doesn't want to be around when the substitute teacher is in? Everybody wants to because you can just do what the hell you want. Find a lie, what I'm saying. You find a lie. So I think it's like that, you know what I mean? But, that's relationships for you. People just got to wake up. It's cold. All right, guys, like I said before, I am going to go so I can go to bed and get a good night rest. Well, I don't know if I can go to bed at just this moment, but I'm going to definitely go and relax. Y'all enjoy your weekend. Thanks so much for tuning in to another episode of Chanel's Reality. Bye, guys. Oh, and don't forget to hit that like button, the subscribe button, and the notification button. It's a free and easy way to support my channel. Thank you so much. Bye.